internet world. YouTubers, weirdos, the whole lot of you. I'm just kidding. I'm an internet kiddo also. I love the internet. I'm obsessed with it. Just as much as you are. Way more, because I make videos, which probably makes me even more crazily obsessed with the internet. My name is Mila. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm not that good at that. Introductions. My name is Mila. I'm from the Midwest. I started this vlog channel, I guess, just because I felt a little bit lonely, I guess. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch a lot of vlogs. Especially, I love vlogs, you know. And I feel like those people are my friends, but, you know, they don't really talk back to you, so. While they're your friends, it's kind of a one-way street as far as friendships goes. I think it would be cool to have that same thing, sort of, like have a bunch of friends, but from around the world. Why am I not in focus? Oh, there you go. Friends from around the world. So I thought it'd be cool to try and make some of those friends. I'm from the Midwest. Where are you guys from? And what are your names? I'd like to know. There's probably only like 2 people who will actually watch this video. Sorry, I keep looking up. I'm really bad at that because I have a little LCD screen above my camera, above the actual lens. So every time I'm looking at the camera, I end up looking at myself talking. I don't really know why. Sorry. But I did start this channel because I wanted to connect with people around the world, which I think is fun. I know it's kind of weird. I don't know. I think people think it's weird. When I tell, like, I have another YouTube channel where I make videos. I have made videos. I really don't make videos too much anymore. Sorry if you hear noise in the background because the window's open, but I don't really make that many videos on that channel anymore because I don't know, they never turn out the way that I want them to, it seems like. But I do make videos there too, but they're not really vlogs. I have made vlogs on that channel, but they're not really like this. Yeah, what was I talking about? Why do I always end up rambling when I make a vlog? When I have nothing to talk, like, specific to talk about, I always end up just rambling about, like, probably, like, absolutely nothing. Anyway, so I woke up this morning with this thought in my head. I guess I had a dream. I don't know. I guess there's a lot of noise in the background. I guess I had a dream because I woke up this morning and I just had this idea to talk. I didn't even really, like, it wasn't like I had an idea like, oh, I'm gonna talk about this, but I just woke up wanting to make a video about nothing, just to talk about something. Nothing, I don't know. So I've been watching this network called Gaiam. It's called Gaia now, but it used to be called the Gaiam network, and it's kind of like a Netflix type of network where you watch all kinds of videos, but except that this network is like geared towards very specific things. So it's geared toward, like, let's see, there's like yoga and like theology, I guess, is a generic way to say it. I would say it's kind of like based on that. I like the channel Seeking Truth, which is one of the, like, more specific channels on that network. It's called Seeking Truth, and I've been watching David Wilcock. He's like I don't actually know if he's a physicist. He might not be like an actual physicist or scientist, but he's a very, very smart man. Like, he is a genius. This man is very, very smart. Sorry, guys. So I've been watching him a lot, and I first saw his stuff on YouTube, and I was watching his wisdom teachings, I think, or something like that on YouTube. but I came across his show on the Gaia Network called Cosmic Disclosure. And this show is literally about what it says. It's about cosmic disclosure. It's about how, okay, well, the whole series, I'm pretty sure he talks to this one guy. His name's Corey Good, and he was allegedly he was allegedly in this like secret space program where all these like incredible crazy things are happening to this guy and to everybody, apparently, like everybody in the whole world, but mostly to this guy because he's, you know, he's the one talking about it. I'm gonna lay my head down. Anyway, he's the one talking about it. And so he says that he was in the secret space program for 20 years and he learned all these things. So the whole show is about him disclosing all of these secret government type deals that have been going on. And it starts off pretty basic, like, okay, so you guys don't know this, but we have a space station on the moon. Okay, so that's like the first like thing he disclosed. We have a space station on the moon. And he goes in to say, well, we have other people, other terrestrials or extraterrestrials have space stations on the moon also, on our moon, right? And that's pretty crazy. I mean, for people who don't already believe that. I am one of those people who already believed, like, wholeheartedly that all of these types of things were already going on. My hair is crazy because I laid down. I'm the type of person who believed that these things are already going on. So none of this was like too surprising to me. The only surprising part was that they're telling the world about it. That's the surprising part to me. And well, I won't be surprised if literally nobody believes it and everybody thinks he's insane. I think people already think David Wilcock is insane because he does all these wisdom teachings. Like, he already talks about stuff like that all the time. And so me and David Wilcock, we already believed all this stuff. We're just basically getting like a second opinion, or so to speak, or like somebody actually telling us, yeah, it's true. Like, because we believe it to be true. I mean, I believe it to be true. Obviously, David Wilcock believes it to be true. I have always believed stuff like this to be true, and I'll go into it in a second, but the stuff, whatever stuff I'm talking about, I'll go into that in a second, but we already believe this to be true, so it's really nice to have like somebody that literally is like, you were right, like this kind of stuff is happening, it's true. So he goes on to talk about how there's space stations on the moon, there's extraterrestrial space stations on the moon, and apparently it's like some kind of gathering place for like almost like a political like place, like the White House, but of space. So it's kind of like the White House of space. Is like a lot of people have space up there, except you can't just go up there. Like when we visited, he says, this is what he says. I'm not saying this because obviously I don't know for sure, but he's saying this. Pretty much everything I say is just what he said. If it's my opinion, I'll let you know. But like, so he says that when we went to the moon, which for anybody that's like a skeptic if we actually went to the moon or not, he says we did go to the moon, and the moon landing was real, but it was also fake, meaning that we landed on the moon, but we couldn't really get what we needed visually because of the what do you call it, like static interruption or something like that, you know what I mean? So it like messed up the cameras, so that's why people think the moon landing is fake, because technically it is fake. Because they landed there and they tried to film, but it didn't work out so well, so they filmed in a studio. But that doesn't mean we didn't land on the moon, obviously. You guys know the kind of technology we have in this world. Like, we can go to the moon. Like, don't be crazy. That's absurd. Like, to think that we can't go to the moon is absurd. Like, we have so much technology. We can make little tiny robots this big that go into your body and do stuff to you. Okay, we can go to the moon. And he says that we went there, and we apparently weren't allowed back because it's some kind of, not a holy place, but some kind of political, like, sanctuary, I think, of some kind. So we weren't, like, allowed back. They didn't like us. Whatever we did there, I don't know if we messed up something. We made a dent in the moon when we landed there. We messed up something. I honestly don't know. I can't remember what he says about why we weren't allowed back there, but we're not allowed back there, so. Anyway, so this guy goes into so many things. Like, he tells us that there are definitely extraterrestrials, which we already knew, you guys. I mean, come on, we are not alone, obviously. But he says there's literally so many that we have already been in contact with and that have been on this planet for a long time. And not only that, but there are people inside our Earth, they literally call it inner Earth, that have been here for like 18 million years or something like that. And they're like they're on the fourth dimension, or fourth dimensional beings, you could say. Like magic, for example. If you take magic, maybe fourth dimensional beings can use magic. But we see magic and we're like, yeah, that doesn't exist. That person's out of his mind. Like, you can't use magic. Like, in this three-dimensional world, you can't use magic. Like, we can imagine how magic works, right? Because we make movies about it and we make TV shows about it. We can imagine how magic would work, but do you actually know anyone that uses magic effectively? I'm not sure. Maybe you do. I mean, if you do, for the love of God, tell me, because I want to know. I'm just saying, though. It's just in that sense. It doesn't have to be that exact example, but just in that sense. Is there something that you can't do, that you can only imagine? That's how I feel like it would be in the third dimension, or in the second dimension, I guess. That's how I feel like the fourth dimensional beings see us. It's like they're like, fourth dimensional beings can do things that we just can't do, physically can't do, until we're on the fourth dimension with them. Anyway, I got off subject, but the fourth dimensional, apparently these inner earth beings are fourth dimensional, and they can do all kinds of, like, like stuff with their minds that we can't do, that only fourth dimensional beings can do. And I'm sure you could just imagine what those things are. Like, I obviously have no clue what those things are. I don't think that this Corey Good person who allegedly claims that he was in the space program and he met these fourth dimensional beings, which is pretty awesome. Allegedly. I don't know. I believe him. I feel like I have a sixth sense about these kinds of things, but I believe him. But anyway, that's not the point. What was I saying? Oh, he met these inner earth beings, and they didn't like show him any of the things that they can do. They don't like showboat. Like, when you meet them, they're not like, look what we can do that you can't do. Like, they don't do that. Apparently, they don't do that. So he also doesn't, sorry, that was my dog. So he also doesn't like know what kind of things that fourth dimensional beings can do, but I think it's pretty cool that he met them. And also not only are there people, they're sort of like people. The inner earth beings, they look like people. They just look different. But they still look like they could be people. They're not like morphed in some weird way. They look like people. They're just a little bit different. Like, he was describing them as having long white hair and very like narrow faces, like kind of like that, and like long white hair and really tall. But apparently they're not the only ones that live inside the earth. Apparently extraterrestrials have been down there for a long time, and there are naturally occurring species that live down there also. So like, the inner earth people have apparently been above the earth at some point, and they moved down there, so they're not naturally occurring inside the earth. But apparently there are other species who are naturally occurring inside the earth. So like lizard type beings that grew inside that earth, like that grew like we did on the earth, but inside the earth, like that. And I think that's pretty crazy. But he says he's been down there, and that there are like, it's like beautiful and incredible down there. Like, it's incredible. It's like what you would think of the lost city of Atlantis, but down there. And apparently that is where the lost city of Atlantis ended up, down inside the earth. I don't know. It's like a whole different subject. But he says that there are all these secret like space alliances and stuff. So like what we would think of as the Illuminati, except they don't call themselves the Illuminati. Now, this isn't inner earth people. These are back up into space, but so we're going back up into space and not about inner earth. But apparently there are all these secret space alliances with our government, our people, and extraterrestrials. And I don't know, apparently what we would call the Illuminati is pretty much what they are, except they don't go by that. They don't go by the Illuminati. That's just a name that we gave to them because we don't know anything about them, so we just gave them a name, which we gave them the Illuminati. But if you follow the Illuminati, apparently this is exactly who they are. And it is not a joke, and it is terrifying, and it is Hubert. He's like outside whining, sorry. It's terrifying. When I heard the story about like all this secret space stuff that is going on, it is terrifying. There are so many things that they can allegedly, I'm gonna keep saying that, but allegedly there are so many things they can do. Apparently their technology is 50 years past what we can do now. And what we can do now is pretty awesome. Like, we can do a lot of cool things. People can basically be built as half robots. You know, like, what we can do now is amazing as it is. And apparently, in this secret space program, they have all this technology that's like 50 years. Why am I so burpy? Like, 50 years in front of us, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Do you know what kind of, like, the technology that we've had and that's come about in the last couple years is amazing. So I think it's like, if you can imagine how much technology we would have in 50 years, it's mind-blowing. And apparently they already have it, and they can do a lot of things, and people are getting kidnapped and sold into like the universe as people slaves. You know what I mean? But like, instead of we don't just have slavery on our earth between countries. Like, we have slavery in the freaking galaxy, like the whole galaxy, apparently. And like, I guess humans are kind of a commodity. Like, there are other humanoid type species according to this guy in the universe, but just something about us makes us special. And I think that, and he says it's not because I think we're like, oh, we're special because we're humans, but we're special because apparently our genes were, you know, messed with and spliced and all this kind of jazz. And so that's why, my arm got really tired. I don't know why I'm holding this camera instead of putting it on a tripod, but it's because I started holding it, so I'm just gonna keep holding it. I'm trying to find a spot where I can hold it without my hand hurting, though. Anyway, so apparently they can do things like, they've been letting like extraterrestrials like kidnap us for like different reasons. You know, everybody has their reasons for wanting to experiment with us or do this or that with us, and it's not all bad. It's not all like everybody wants to harvest our organs or eat us or impregnate us or weird stuff like that. It's just basic, you know. It's the same way that we test on animals, which is wrong, but we have done it for a long time, and we didn't always think it was wrong. You know what I mean? So I think they have the same mentality. Is like, it's kind of the same way if you think about it. Like, we would have never found out how to do heart transplants and stuff like that if we hadn't experimented on people, right? I mean, it sounds cruel, but there are things, I mean, I do not think it's okay to test on animals. I mean, it's crude. Like, it's not even like we're being gentle with them or like trying to help them by experimenting on them. We're just trying to help ourselves by hurting them. That's not okay. In my opinion, that's not okay. But anyway, I think they do that kind of stuff to us. And that's why a lot of our people in our world just go missing. And a lot of people in our world are missing. I think that's really sad. They just go up and missing, and I think that's why. And he says most of the people that are in the space program are actually like born into it, so they're not necessarily the kidnapped people. But he also says he's been to Mars, and there are civilizations on Mars too already. And a lot of those people actually are like basically slaves. Sorry, my window's open. A lot of those people are basically slaves, I guess, because, you know, they told them, you know, you're gonna go up on Mars, you're special, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna change the world. you can't tell anybody. So they went up there, they had their children, and they were all there. But when they got there, you know, it was like, apparently they live in like basically cell blocks, and they don't get to like, it's just not normal. It's like slavery. It's not normal, and they don't like it. They're not happy. They're slaves. They just don't realize it. And a lot of these people were told that the earth was gone, that the earth was like destroyed and it's gone. So then they don't have a reason to rebel and like try to get away. They don't, because where are they gonna go? The earth is gone. So it's like where they don't have anywhere to go, so they're not gonna rebel. It's actually quite brilliant and quite scary. Scary to think that they can just tell you that and have you believe it. But so he says he's seen these other types of fourth dimensional beings, not the inner earth ones, but the ones in space, and he's been in contact with these aliens called blue avians, I think is what they're called, and they look like people, but they kind of look like birds. But I'm pretty sure that's just the way that they present themselves. They don't actually look like that. I think that they're like light beings, so they're just made of light, but they can show themselves to us because as people, I think that's what it is. And he also is in contact with these blue orbs that's literally what they are. They're fourth dimensional beings, so they don't need bodies. So they're just these little like blue like orbs, like these little balls. I'm not even sure if they're all blue. I think the ones he said that he saw were blue. I'm not sure if they're all blue. But apparently they're just light, and they speak telepathically, which a lot of extraterrestrials apparently do. They talk to you telepathically. And he says he comes across these other extraterrestrials that are just downright, like, basically evil, except it's just my opinion, now that I'm saying, it's just my opinion that a lot of extraterrestrials, I feel like that's what kind of makes us special, is a lot of extraterrestrials don't have, like, feelings. I don't know if they have, like, hearts, like, the same as we do. Because they don't, based on everything he says, it seems like they don't really care, like they don't have feelings, like they don't really care, like they don't really have feelings. And you know, that's a weird, crazy thing to think about. But what if we are the only terrestrials like in the universe that, or maybe not the only ones, but you know, some of the only ones that have like heart that gives them feelings? Does that make sense? Like, and just a lot of extraterrestrials are just like way more advanced than us and smarter than us and can do a lot of more stuff than us, but that doesn't mean that they have the same things as us. Like, they may have brains and they're way more capable than us, but something that might make us, what makes us human, is that we have hearts and lots of feelings, and they might even think that that's a bad thing. Like, they might think that that's a bad thing. And I'm going to get back into the reason why I started this channel, because that just reminded me, sort of, is that I think it's, I always felt like, and David Wilcock talks about this a lot, and if you go and you watch him, then or if you already watch him, then you know about sort of like the law of one, or like the one consciousness type of thing, which I've always believed in, but I didn't really know that other people thought the same thing until I started watching stuff like David Wilcock's stuff, you know? I didn't realize other people thought that. I didn't realize other people, like, knew. I just thought it was a feeling, you know what I mean? Like, I just had this feeling like we were all connected for some reason. But, he believes that, I truly believe that, like, everybody has a connected consciousness, and that the world is just one big consciousness. And he said something that made a lot of sense, that every person is just a fragment of the one true consciousness. Like, there's one, everybody in the universe is just the one consciousness, but we all can think separately. So we're fragments of one consciousness. So when you're like, I'm talking to you right now, it's sort of like I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to a fragment of myself, a different version of myself. And I think that that's pretty cool. So do you guys know like a coral? If you guys know if you guys have ever known this, but coral, it grows off of one body, right? It grows off of one singular body, and it just keeps growing into different little parts. But each one of those parts of coral thinks separately and on its own. But it's still one part. It's still the only part. Like, they're all the same. All the parts of the coral are the same. It grows into... Sorry, my camera died. But I feel like everybody's connected, and I feel like that's why people feel bad. Okay, so take this for example. When people feel bad or guilty about hurting someone else or doing something to someone else, or when, like, say a school bus full of children like falls off a cliff or something, like, you feel terrible, like, you feel so sad for those people. But why? Anyway. I don't remember what else I was talking about. I guess that's enough for today. I did talk a lot. I would love to know what you guys think. I know it's a weird subject, and most people would say it's very esoteric and completely unfathomable. Unfathomable. I cannot say it. Wow. Wow, Mila. Unfathomable. Okay, well, we're just gonna go with that. I know some people can't comprehend the idea of extraterrestrials and the space program and the Illuminati and, like, one consciousness and the law of one and all this kind of stuff, but, you know, keep your mind open, because there's not a rule book that says that this is right and this is wrong. And I know a lot of people believe in God and Christ as like a person. I know a lot of people believe God is like to be like a person almost, but it's just never made sense to me. I do believe in God. I believe there is the God, so to speak. I believe the universe is God. I believe I believe consciousness in itself has to be something. It's not just random, you know. Okay, hold on a second. Cannot remember what I was talking about before I called, but I guess I'll just end it here. I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit and meet every one of you. I would love for you guys, all three of you who probably are gonna watch this vlog, to tell me your name also. If you don't remember, my name is Mila. I'd love for you guys to tell me your name. Leave it in the comments, and please tell me what you think about this. I'd love to have a discussion. People, when I talk to people about this, their eyes just immediately glaze over. Like, they're just like, Mila, you sound like an insane person. I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't want to listen to it anymore. So I feel like I have no one to talk to about this. I just feel so alone. I woke up this morning. Oh, that's what I forgot to say. I literally woke up this morning and felt so alone. Like, have you ever felt like you were just lost? I feel like I had this in a dream last night for some reason, but I woke up and I felt like lost. I just felt lost. I feel like a wanderer. Like, how did I end up here? I always feel like, how did I end up here? I can't remember a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons why this could have happened, but I don't remember a lot of who I was before I was like roughly 18, 17. Like, exactly, most of my memories are gone before the age of like 17 or 18, which once I get into my senior year of high school, it's like a little blurry. Like, I can see some of it, but it's blurry. So that's like one of the last times I can remember is when I was like 17 or 18 in high school. And most of my other memories behind that are just gone. Like, there are very, very, very few. There are a few, but there are very, very few. So I just don't remember. And I swear sometimes I just wonder how I got here. Like, I feel like I just woke up one day and didn't know how the hell I got here. I woke up one day at 18, 19 and do not know how I got here. And now I just feel like I've been walking around lost. And every person that I try to connect to or try to be friends with. It's like it just doesn't happen. I feel so out of place. I feel so out of place. Like, it's really hard to explain. It's just that, you know, a lot of people feel out of place that I know. A lot of people feel like people think that they're weird, right? Like, people think I'm weird all the time. I feel like I don't feel normal, though. I don't. It's not that I think I'm normal and people think I'm weird and I think other people are weird. I don't feel normal. I think it's weird that people can be so normal. Like, for example, people can be happy just going to school and talking to their friends about makeup and hair and doing their homework and just being normal in a sense. Like, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. And I don't know how to be like normal friends with people because I always end up talking about weird stuff, like esoteric stuff, and then people are like, you know, don't you like know any normal stuff? I do not. I don't know how to not be inspired every day, or to not, if I'm around things that make me feel drained, like going to work, or just being around people that don't have anything to talk about, don't have any cares in the world, that makes me feel drained. I feel like if I'm not talking about the universe and God and the world and physics and the way our bodies work and stuff like that, if I'm not talking about stuff like that, I feel out of place. I do. I feel like I need something. I feel like there's got to be something more. I always just felt like there has to be something more. Every day. Every day I feel like it. Every single day. I'm like, feel like we're not living up to our potential of what is our potential? I don't even know. For fuck's sake, I don't have a clue. I just feel like this isn't it. I just feel like this normal world, go to the mall, like, buy clothes, go to Coachella, like, that stuff doesn't seem important at all. Anyway, subscribe to my channel, guys. It's nice to meet you. I'll see you next time. Bye.